What's up everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video here from EPT Prague, the last video from EPT Prague. It's all shutting down, everyone's going home, and we are on our way back to Harrogate tomorrow. But I wanted to take a little step back today. I'm not going to be playing any poker, I'm not going to be particularly talking about poker. And I wanted to talk about a big change that I've been making in my life, something that has really caught up with me, and I've felt the effects of it, and it's been clear that something needed to change. So let me take a step back here. This really stems from this summer in Barcelona. I started talking about having anxiety issues. My mental health felt more frail than it's ever been before, and that's something I'd never experienced. So I've been getting counseling every 2 weeks, once a month, something like that, as much as I can fit it in, to sort of try and address what that feeling is and the feeling of like what's wrong when there isn't necessarily anything wrong, right? And something that's come up for me, and I just wanted to talk with you guys, person to person, I guess, was about a big change I'm making and something I was going wrong. And maybe some of you can derive inspiration from this, or you can give me your advice and what works for you. I kind of view my life in 3 pillars, right? I have my relationship with Rebecca. I have my work, which is playing poker, getting better at poker, creating these YouTube videos, streaming on Twitch, you know, being an ambassador for the game. All of that is sort of encompassed in work. And then I have me, right? And those are the 3 pillars. And through talking with my counselor, I've realized that not just this year, but like over the course of my life, I have never prioritized myself and my own self-care. And I think the rationale that is in my mind about this is, well, I don't think I'm really gonna care if I didn't eat a really nice meal, as an example. I know how silly this sounds because I understand the gap in logic here. I'm not really gonna care if I went out and went to the grocery store and got a nice meal and ate a nice meal as opposed to grab something quick. Like, that's not gonna matter 30 years down the road, whereas all these other things are going to matter. Well, of course, that doesn't really make a lot of sense because the culmination of all these choices add up into a whole that makes me perform worse and makes me feel worse, etc. What's been really important for me in trying to lessen my anxiety and feel better in life is to focus more on what's important for me, making sure that I'm taking care of myself. So the change I've decided to make, and this is where I kind of want you guys to chime in, is I've started to make these routines in the morning and in the evening. And I'm in the process of implementing them. Not 100% yet, but like I'm getting pretty good at starting the day and ending the day like this. Here's a little image I made. I don't know if they can see that.
Yep, they can see it.
So instead of just a full image of my girlfriend, which I used to have on my home screen, I have sort of an outlay for the morning and the evening and how I would like to start my day and how I'd like to finish my day. And if I can do that every day, I figure that I'm taking care of what I need. And then I can work on the things I really want to work on, which is, work. Basically, that's what motivates me inside. So starting the day with a glass of water, a 5-minute stretch, 5-minute meditation. Meditation is so useful, it's so good. Like, I get out of the habit sometimes, but when I'm in the habit, it's just such a good feeling. A 10-minute walk, and then food plan, which isn't something that I've been doing here in Prague because it's very difficult while traveling. There's probably a whole nother video about how you sort of structure your food plans. It's kind of just go with the flow most of the time when traveling. Shower, coffee with Bae, with Rebecca. This is the relationship part of my day. Things are very hectic in doing what I do because it's not like a normal job where I show up at this time and leave at this time and then it's over. It's kind of just fluctuating times, and you're getting communications at different times after work, all that sort of stuff, right? So I figure if we can go get coffee, which is something we both like doing, spend 30 minutes in the morning, just me and her, and having coffee. That's really prioritizing my relationship and making sure no matter what the day is like, we have that 30 minutes to just be with each other. So that's important to me, and I've included that in my routine every day before I get started with streaming and stuff. That's something I do now. 5-minute tidy the house. This is something that Rebecca suggested, but I think it's a good practice. And then plan the day on the calendar, sort of map out what exactly it is I'm going to be doing over the course of the day. That's what I'm attempting to do to start my day. And I would love if you guys could give your feedback down below about what do you do in the morning. For a lot of people, it won't be as structured, and structure won't be needed because you're in a better place, so you just do what makes sense. But I'm finding that I need the structure, or else I wouldn't do these things, right? It's like I would push off things like meditation and just wouldn't do it because I'd want to get into work, or that 10-minute walk to sort of get active or stretching. It would just get pushed off and I wouldn't do it at all. So it's important I prioritize it first, make sure I'm taking care of myself. So what is it you do in your morning routine? I'd love to hear from you. And then the evening, I have charged all my equipment. This is sort of the end of the day, right? Schedule tomorrow, whatever I know is happening tomorrow, I can put it on my schedule. 5-minute meditation, and then read. I just bought this book in Prague. I have a bunch of books at home that I haven't read yet. This one, Deep Thinking, by Garry Kasparov, a chess legend, apparently. Only 2 chapters in, but it's kind of interesting. But it should help with sleep quality, That's another thing I've struggled with, like being able to sleep at a set time and wake up at a set time and feel rested, not have an anxious sleep. So getting off the screens an hour before bed will really help me, I think. So read and then sleep. That's the change that I'm making. And the thing is, because I've really failed up to this point in my life at this factor, and I think it's so important, and my counselor has made it apparent to me how important it is and how much I've been missing out on making this a strategy in my life. I have to prioritize myself. It's like I am the engine that makes all this run, and you guys are the engine that make your own life run. So making sure you do things that make you feel good throughout the day is really important, as important as the other things. I'm learning that, and I think that's where a lot of my negative feelings have come from over the last 6 months. Thinking back to Ultimate Sweat 1 and the course of that year, a lot of mental issues have stemmed from that process. It was very intense, And I think some of the anxiety I have in my life now comes from the feeling of what it was like to go through that, especially towards the end where it was so aggressively intense. So I've noticed like some things where I have an empty stomach or I miss a meal or something like that, and I'll start to have anxiety, like in a big way, almost like my body is like trying to prepare itself or freaking out a little bit, as if I'm gonna forgo food, which I did a bunch, So I don't want to call it trauma because that's like a very charged word, and I think what I did is human, but it's almost like my body is protecting itself from having to do that again, mentally. So that's something that I've sort of been struggling with a little bit. I felt it a little bit here in Prague and had conversations about it. And again, this plan is to try and address that so that I don't get in a position where I skip a meal and then I'm really hungry and I start to feel anxious. Or if I don't have a food plan for the day and then I make this poor choice and I binge eat, and then, it's like I feel anxious after and unsuccessful. So that's just a change I'm making in my life. I don't know if any of you guys are going to find that interesting or not, but I'd love to hear about what are your routines in the day, in the morning, in the evening, or otherwise. A fitness routine is something I'd like to include on here every day as well. That'll be the next step. I'm just making sure that sort of we can execute this on a consistent basis. Also, where are your priorities? How do things settle within your life? Because I know we're different. For some people, perhaps themselves is priority number 1, and that's, I think, a lot healthier place to be than your pursuits or your ambition. Or perhaps your relationship is last and you'd like to change that, and you need to figure out how to move things around so that you make sure you have that relationship time. I'd love to hear how it works in your life, because at the end of the day, I know we're all just striving to get better, and improve and figure out how to live in this crazy world and feel happy and achieve our goals. And so yeah, that's what this quick little vlog was about. Thank you guys so much for railing me here in Prague. I had a great time. Very excited to hop back on a plane tomorrow and get into the grind. Quick spoilers if you're still here at the end of this video. We have a very exciting 3 weeks coming up, Brando. You know what time? It's the 18th. In the next 20 days, I will be buying into more poker tournaments in terms of dollars than I have ever bought into in a 20-day period. This will be my highest stakes 20 days in my life.
Are we going to tell them what it is, or just
nope.
tease them?
That's it. They know about the PSPC 20.
We'll give them that. But
that's it. That's all you got. So yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it. I don't know if you found this interesting. Let me know if you did down below. Just a little bit of what's inside me out to you guys. It helps me just get it out there in a bit. So thanks so much for watching. Till next time. We'll see you later.